Oh, hey! Didn't know we were live already. How's everyone doing tonight? I'm Steve, and welcome to Top Rope Spoilers. Joining me in, my co-host, Kia.
Hi, everybody. How are you?
First of all, how can anyone listen to this? Don't get me wrong, I like good theme music as much as anybody else, but I can't listen to this too much.
I listened to it throughout high school and middle school, and I rocked out.
Oh, and it answers so many questions.
Yeah, hey, I loved it. I love music, so...
Anyway, if you want to, for those of you that are new to here, this is our official prediction show, and hey, our first NXT show for, of course, NXT Takeover in your house. Kia, if you want to take a quick second to explain everything, I got a little bit of electronic stuff for me to figure out, and then we'll get our show started.
So pretty much what we do here on Top Rope Spoilers, me and Steve give our predictions as well as our explanations for who we think will and will not win, or who will retain and who will not retain, and we give it to you. We try to be short and sweet, but we also try to be thorough with everything. With that being said, as you can see, the board is nicely set up, so we're actually ready. Thanks to me and Steve. So yeah, let's get ready. Let's get to it.
See, now it's stuck in my head. See, now I got the song just continuing to play. It's probably just going to play in my head the whole time. For those of you wondering, that was Code Orange. The song was called Underneath. For those of you wondering what song we were playing in the background to start things off, it is the official theme song of NXT Takeover.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get started, though, we have a little bit of business. It's more personal to us, but we have some birthday shout-outs that we wanted to go over. So I'm going to do the first one. We want to give a special shout-out to Javier. He's out in the crowd somewhere. He is a young man who has played soccer with our son for several years. Today is his 14th birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Huge fan of the show, huge fan of what we bring to the table. So we wanted to make sure we took a second to wish you a very happy birthday. Happy birthday, Javi. Continue to be strong out there.
Okay, our second birthday shout out goes to, you all should know her. It's Jenny, Izzy's mom. And she is the most NXT outside of her daughter and her husband. So with that being said, if you see her, wish her a happy birthday. She is very close and very near and dear to us. We love her like she's our own, and we consider
our Florida mom.
Exactly. We consider her and Izzy and Cody to be family. So Jenny, happy birthday. We love you.
Absolutely. So hey, and you know, being the mom of NXT, you know, it's how fitting that there's a takeover event all its own on a weekend in which it's her birthday. So you know, it's got to be even more special. The only way it'd be more is if she could actually be there. You know, and with all the sports and everything around the world, you know, me being a sports junkie, you're now starting to see all of these, you know, these leagues and whatnot starting to get their stuff back together. They're starting to, you know, start creating their plans. So hopefully WWE's not going to be too far behind, and we're going to be back in arenas here soon.
Hopefully, but everybody's got to stay safe, do what you need to do, and yeah.
That's it. Hey, but either way, we know what you guys are here for. You're here too. We've talked about it for weeks. It's been getting set up. But let's get to the fun and the action. Let's get to our official reviews and predictions for Takeover in your house. We do have 6 matches that are currently scheduled for the card, as we always do. We will go over each one that has been scheduled up until 24 hours prior to the event officially starting. If they add a match during it, or if they add a pre-show match on Sunday, obviously, tough luck on us. We didn't know, so we only predict the ones that are officially on the card as of 24 hours prior, and these are what we have. So we're going to open up with our 6-woman tag match. This was added on NXT this week.
Past
Wednesday. Will be the team of Mia Yim, Shotzi Blackheart, and Tegan Nox taking on the team of the Poison Pixie Candice LeRae, along with Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai.
King Coda.
Captain Coda.
Exactly.
But you look at these teams, and obviously these 6 women have been warring with each other for quite some time now. They've been at each other's throats for a couple weeks. Tegan and Dakota goes back even farther than that. You got to go all the way back to War Games to see where their rivalry put in. It's hard to believe that she's already been heel for 6 months already.
Hey,
seems like it was just yesterday.
When it's a good thing, it's a good thing.
Well, we were really concerned, I remember, at the beginning about Dakota's push, and now it seems like she's gone into that full-blown heel role. She's got the muscle behind her in Raquel. And now you add in Candice LeRae, who now is looking for a little vengeance of her own now with her rivalry with her and Mia. But now Mia leading her own little team of warriors out there, including, of course, the tank-driving psychopath in Shotzi Blackheart. I need one of those little tanks. Can you just picture Cassius just riding around in one of those tanks around the yard?
How would you need a tank if you just gonna give it to him? What you gonna do, just push it
around?
around?
I can't fit in the tank. I've looked in that tank. I can't fit in it.
Okay, all right.
What do you think? Should we get it? Should we get our little baby a tank? Come on, give your thoughts in the comments below.
You gotta give him the helmet if you're getting in the tank.
No helmets. Helmets are for weaklings. That's not true. If you ride bikes, that's not advice. Okay, wear your helmet. And then, of course, Tegan Knox, who has had her issues with both Dakota, Raquel, and now recently with Candice as well. And she's been trying to be the one to kind of be the middle ground here, maybe the new mother figure now of trying to say, look, Candice, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? And she's been met with nothing but, slaps to the face and punches.
Well, you have to understand, Candice feels like, and we've spoken about it several times before, Candice feels like she's been putting everybody else except for herself. And, with that being said, I can see where she's coming from. She's wanting her vengeance. She's wanting to do it her way. She's wanting to get, a foot up on, I guess, her competition and what she feels to be the competitive threat and to take them out so she can rule the roost.
Absolutely. So with that, all being put into play and everything, in being set up, we now have an opportunity to give you our official picks. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, nice whiteboard that we are able to write all of our information on. Flipped a coin. I actually won this time around, so I'm actually going to be going first. And with everything being considered, I love the team of Mia, Tegan, and Shotzi. I really do think that first of all, I think all 6 of these women have done a very good job in their own unique way of being able to promote themselves as the future of the women's division behind our competitors that'll be competing in our women's championship match that we'll be seeing a little bit later. But I feel like this is a situation where ultimately the heel team, especially Candice LeRae, has got to be able to put on a good show. Maybe not necessarily win, but her entire heel turn does absolutely nothing. And that's what gave Dakota's run at the very beginning a good start, or not a good start, is because she all of a sudden turns heel and then she loses like her first 4 matches as a heel.
I felt like she lost that momentum. If you're going to turn someone heel, you cannot lose that momentum by saying, okay, well, whoever you compete against, you're going to lose those 4 matches. So for me, I just felt like it went flat.
Well, that was also what was interesting because of the fact that Dakota, ends up attacking Tegan. Yet, they were on the winning team because Rhea and Candice were able, and Io were able to do such a good job of, pulling it all together. The problem is that, Dakota you talked about momentum, she got virtually none to start things off, and it really wasn't until she started teaming with Raquel that things got better for her. I think that they're going to learn from their mistakes. I think they're going to do things right. In my opinion, the people that are writing the choices for this are not going to make the same mistake twice.
Yeah.
So with that being the case, I'm actually going with the heel team of Candice LeRae, Raquel, and Dakota as my pick.
Oh, okay. So you going heel. I forgot you like bad girls, so this might work for you.
I married you.
With that being said, I would have to say I'm going to go with the opposite. Here's what I think. I love Mia. Either way, I'm about female empowerment, but I love Mia. I love Shotzi. I love Tegan. I love the fact that Tegan is still trying to, be the good girl, at the same time still fight for what she believes is the right thing, even if she's having to do it against her ex-best former friend. Now, also, Shotzi, this chick, you don't want to mess with someone like that. She seemed like she might take your head straight clean off. She might look nice, but like she said, she's a psychopath, and she will do whatever I feel like she has to do. So even if she is on the good team, and she is a good girl, which she is, you've got another driving force in Mia, who feels like with everything that's been going on with Candice and Johnny and, Keith Lee, we saw what she did at the dinner table. She pretty much reenacted the whole Gargano family dinner scene. And
which I love. I've been loving those scenes, by the way.
It's humorous, but at the same time, if you know her, she doesn't take nothing sitting down. So she's not going to take this sitting down. And with Johnny and Candice trying to get the upper hand, she ain't going back down. She's not going to hush up. And I love it about her. I love the HBIC. I'm just saying. So with that, I'm picking the good girls with probably bad intentions, but for good reasons.
Okay, so with that, you got to snag your pin, make it official here. So for those of you who have seen the first 2 episodes that we put together, Kia ended up winning WrestleMania 12-10 over me. I was able to get a little bit back into it. I took Money in the Bank 4-3. So that means I'm only 1 behind her for the calendar year up to this point, but starting off with opposite picks to open up our show. Now we've got our second match, one that, probably the one that's gotten the least amount of attention on NXT up to this point, and that is going to be a singles matchup between Finn Balor and the Archer of Infamy, Damian Priest. This will be by far Priest's biggest match of his NXT career up to this point, because he has made the choice to try to, what do they say, go after the Prince, you best not miss. Well, he didn't miss the first time because he completely laid Finn Balor out in a day just before he was going to face Velveteen Dream, potentially with a title shot on the line. He loses that title shot, ends up having to wait weeks to find out it's Preist, and now the Prince wants revenge.
Here's my thing. Everybody that knows me, and y'all should know me fairly well, because I mention it, almost on a week-to-week basis. I'm a stan of not only Seth, but I'm a stan of the Prince himself. I've seen him go through his career. I've seen him fight in different promotions. I feel like, with that, you came at the Prince. You came at Prince Devitt. That is the worst thing to do. You're going to come at him, you're going to attack him, and you're going to do it in a shady fashion. You can't do that and expect him not to have something brewing in his mind for revenge. Now, we've seen what he did to Gargano, and we saw what he's done to all his other competition as far as the Imperium and Walter. And so, and then we saw what he did to Grimes. I'm not understanding where these people's heads are. When you come at him and you see what type of a threat he is, and he might look nice and he might look sweet, but if you mess with him, you're going to get your head taken clean off. And this, with that being said, my pick, I'm not changing my pick. I pick the Prince. So, this is my dude right here.
This may be a huge K. So, we go ahead and skip ahead a little bit to her pick, but she is taking Finn Balor. Balor has the second most appearances in TakeOver history. Only Johnny Gargano has more. And it was actually because of Finn Balor that Gargano's streak of a whole bunch of consecutive TakeOvers ended up ending. But Finn only actually has one loss in his TakeOver history. It was a loss to Samoa Joe, in which Joe was able to retain the NXT Championship. This going back a couple of years ago, just before Finn debuted on Raw and won the Universal title. So TakeOver has been Finn's hunting ground. That's been his home turf. It's been, where he's at his best. It also is interesting because it doesn't look like he's going to, I'm not sure, waste him, but I'm thinking that Finn is so confident going into this, I don't think he needs to use the Demon to take out Damian Priest.
Well, if you've heard him speak on it, he likes this environment. He feels like you cannot make a mistake, you cannot mess up. The lights are on the brightest, you see everything, you hear everything, you get to see what's going on. I feel like with that being said, I think, again, and in taking my pick, I'm still sticking with, the Prince.
Well, Damian has put himself in a position where, again, he took a shot at the Prince. He got him once, but now the Prince has gotten back up. And Finn's not going to be one. He doesn't back down from anybody.
No,
it doesn't matter.
No.
Bigger, smaller, tougher, not tougher, stronger, weaker. Doesn't matter. Finn takes on any and all comers.
That's the person that has heart.
So, heart, but also a little bit of stubbornness as well.
Hey.
And it is what it is, but at the end of the day, Damian is setting himself up for the biggest match of his career. Now, Finn has already shown that, if he loses focus even for a moment, he can slip. He is capable of slipping because of the stuff that Damian did. He lost a match to Cameron Grimes, his first loss back since joining NXT. So, Damian is tough enough and is definitely good enough that if Finn makes a mistake, he can capitalize. With that being put into play, though, I am going to agree with you. I'm also going to take Finn Balor in this match, simply because I think that he is more prepared for the bright lights. I think he is more ready for the stage. Damian's going to be a champion in NXT before he's done. I'm going on record officially right now. Damian Priest is going to win championships. He's going to win this one. He's probably going to win this one. But at the end of the day, you've called out Finn Balor. A former Universal Champion. He's won nearly every championship that's in existence on both main roster and in NXT. So, Damian better show up with nothing less than his A game if he's got any chance. Otherwise, Finn's going to take him to town.
Yeah, you better come to show up and show out is what you better do.
So moving into our, for lack of a better term, mid-card matches, which is hard to believe considering that we just talked about Finn Balor before we got to this segment. So that tells you how, once again, NXT has just set an amazing card out in front of us. We move into what has turned into a rivalry matchup as Tommaso Ciampa will go one-on-one, making his TakeOver debut in Karrion Kross. Of course, Scarlett waiting at ringside for her man to unleash some more trouble. Karrion has come in and has done nothing but just lay out every person. Granted, the competition hasn't been exactly that stiff. But at the same time, he's making very quick work. He's very much similar to what Baron Corbin was when he was in NXT. He doesn't work by the hour. He's going to finish you as quickly as he can. He's not going to take his time with it. And he specifically picked Tommaso Ciampa for a reason. He wants that huge debut. He wants it. And what bigger name, maybe short of Gargano, could you get than facing Tommaso Ciampa?
I feel like he that is a bold move. I feel like he's got the cojones, and I don't know really what to say besides, if you take on this match, you better come, you better show up, and you better give it all you got.
Well, I noticed, for just a little side note here, not a lot of upper hair in this match. Scarlett's got it all, because we've got two very fine-looking bald men going into this match. But Karrion has definitely made himself a threat, but at the same time, as we said already, hasn't exactly been facing the biggest of competition. Tommaso is not these other names that he has been facing. We know what Ciampa can bring to the table, a former NXT champion. We know what he is capable of being able to bring, and we also know that he has an extremely sadistic side, and he has been more than patiently waiting for the right moment, being Takeover in your house, to wait to get his hands on Karrion Kross. This one has bloodbath written all over it. So the only thing I worry about, and I'm getting to my pick here, the only thing I worry about with Ciampa is he's actually on a relatively bad losing streak when it comes to his really big matches. He lost his championship rematch against Adam Cole, granted because of Johnny Gargano, and then he lost the final beat match with Gargano, again thanks to Candice LeRae. So while he hasn't necessarily been losing by his own accord, the fact is the scoreboard is still showing him losing, and it's always seemingly because of someone else that's in the back pocket of whomever he's facing, which is why I think the most important person out of this is likely going to be Scarlett, because Scarlett has proven that she can be just as much of a commodity for Karrion as she can be against someone else. She has gone out completely by herself to go watch Ciampa and to get in his head, and is already starting to play the mind games with him. Ciampa's good with it, but with that being the case, and with her sitting in the back pocket, I really hope he doesn't make the same mistake again, but I have a feeling I think Karrion by himself will be too much, and then you add Scarlett in there as well, it just makes it even more trouble. I'm actually taking Karrion Kross to beat Ciampa at TakeOver.
Well, if you're taking Karrion Kross and Scarlett Bordeaux for this side, we like we've already stated, we've seen what Ciampa can do. He is amazing, and like I said, I didn't get behind him at first, but then I started to get behind him, and I liked what he was doing. Now, mind you, it was against his former friend, his former best friend, Johnny, but at this point, he has no Candice, no Johnny, no Velveteen Dream, nobody who's going to stop him, nobody who's going to get in his way. The only thing, like you said, to worry about is Scarlett. Now, if she's any type of person, she will try to be a distraction, such as every other valet, manager, anybody who is going to be helping her partner.
Hold that thought for just a second.
Okay.
It actually says our live video is paused, and I need to see if that is true. No, I can still see you. All right, sorry. Our monitor said that the video was paused, but it clearly still says live on it. My apologies. I want to make sure we didn't lose you. You guys are watching us, so we want to make sure we're not sitting here. We love talking to each other, but
we can do that anytime.
We can do that anytime, exactly. Anyway, sorry. Continue.
But we know that, again, Ciampa is a sadistic SOB. And he's used everything to his advantage, such as the ring, his crutches, Goldie, his baby, which he has not won back, but that's just a whole other can of worms. In my opinion, am not going to go against the person I'm pulling for, and that is Ciampa. We've seen what he's done to Johnny. We've seen what he's done to, Candice and all his other competition. I'm pulling for Ciampa.
All right, we'll make it official then. So that means we now have two that we have gone separate against up to this point, in going with Tommaso Ciampa as her pick, while I am going to take Karrion Kross. So we now finally start moving into our championship matches. We have 3 of them scheduled on the card. The first for the NXT North American Championship, currently held by Keith Lee. So we'll put that right there for visual enjoyment. But we move into the first of our 3 title matches, which is the Limitless Keith Lee defending his North American Championship against Johnny Gargano. Now, Gargano obviously has come in and has really started showing his sadistic side up to this point. He's very much like Candice. They're going to eat first. They're tired of being the nice people and not getting rewarded for it. They're tired of waiting their turn. At this point, they're taking their turns. He didn't ask Keith Lee for a title shot. He didn't go to William Regal and say, I want a title shot, I've earned a title shot. He just said, Keith Lee, I'm facing you for the North American Championship.
Discussion
over, no conversation needed. He says, I'm your next title shot, and that was it.
Hey, I have to give respect where respect is owed. He is a very ballsy person.
The irony, of course, being the whole cup on their dinner desk, or on their dinner table.
Thank you for catching that.
Yep.
He's a very ballsy person, and I respect it. I respect him for everything that he's doing, everything he has done as a heel, as a face, and now going back to a heel. I don't see where he can go wrong. But now from the flip side, Keith Lee, we've seen Keith Lee go main roster for a little bit for a lot of the pay-per-views that we've been to, but at the same time we've seen him every week. He's a fighting champion. He's willing to put his heart, his soul, and for a big dude, he's doing things that we've never seen big dudes do before. Like, for example, Kevin Owens, a big dude, doing big things. Braun Strowman, big dude, doing big things. Keith Lee is in that boat with, I feel like, some of the best. So I don't see where Keith Lee can go wrong. And again, Johnny Gargano's wife, she's down here. She's busy with her own match. She might be tired for all we know, and there's not going to be no way she's going to be able to help Johnny. So, and the same goes with me. She's going to be too tired to want to help here, unless you just got that much stamina and you can go for it, then go for it. But I'm kind of conflicted because I see it going either or with this match.
Well, you mentioned that, Johnny, has been doing everything right and really has nothing that's been stopping him. Well, there's a very big thing standing in front of him that's looking to stop him. And, some of the biggest names that WWE and NXT have. This man went toe-to-toe with Roman Reigns at Survivor Series, the biggest gun that WWE has, and nearly took him out. And in a Survivor Series match classic, they made it very clear that Keith Lee is going to be the future of not just NXT, but of WWE, period. Do we feel like this is the moment, though, when he needs to pass it on? And of all people, is it Johnny Gargano that needs to be the one to take it and become the first two-time North American champion? Johnny, obviously, very much on the wrong end when it comes to size, when it comes to strength, but definitely a speed advantage. So it'll be interesting to see. It's going to be the strength of Keith Lee against the speed and the mind games of Johnny Gargano, as well as potentially Candice LeRae, if she can have anything left in the tank to be able to come out and help. You're up first. Who you got?
I don't see no way in Keith Lee losing. My pick is Keith Lee. I feel like with everything that's going to be said and everything being done, I feel like he retains. I feel like he holds on to that title. He wears it well. How do you take it off of him? You can't.
Unless you're going for something bigger. That's the only way I could see it.
My pick is Keith Lee. The limitless one.
So you've got Keith Lee retaining. I will go on record to say I am agreeing with that choice as well. I do feel that Johnny is building himself up to be a good heel, but it's going to take a little bit of time. It's very clear he's not going anywhere. I believe him and Tommaso, each at separate times, have very clearly come out and said that, we're not going anywhere. We are the face of NXT, and we plan on being the face of NXT for as long as we deem that we want to continue wrestling for this company. So Johnny is going to, have plenty of time to be able to build up his heel persona. I do feel like Johnny will likely be the one that's going to take the title off of Keith Lee, but I don't think it happens now. I think Johnny's going to try everything in his path to be, or in his power to be able to try to be the one to take it off Keith, but I do think that the power will eventually overlast the mind games and the speed. We see it all the time. Eventually, you can duck the big brown bear for, a long time, but eventually the bear's going to hit you, and when he does, it's game over.
You might want to run.
Exactly. So I am also going to say Keith Lee will retain the North American Championship by beating Johnny Gargano. I also could potentially see Lee winning by disqualification because maybe Johnny decides that he can't win, and so he's like, I'll give up the match to injure Lee to get another shot later.
Don't get me wrong. I love Johnny Gargano. I think, again, a lot of heart is to be had with this one. It doesn't matter if you're a heel or a face. I think he's got the cunning. I think he's got the deviousness to, at some point in the future, win the title.
Exactly. So we move on to what we are calling our co-main events, which are two matches at the top. We begin with probably the one that we could have an entire show talking about alone, and that is for the NXT Women's Championship, currently held by the Queen, Charlotte Flair. We will put that right there. This match will be contested as a triple threat match Charlotte Flair, the current incumbent champion, defending against two people she has already faced since returning to NXT. Rhea Ripley, who she beat at WrestleMania to win the title in the first place. And then Io, who won a ladder match to get a shot at Charlotte. Charlotte ends up going ahead and taking a disqualification loss to retain, but Io putting on a good show, and then Rhea returning to make it known that she wants to be the one to take it out. These are by far the best three the women's division has to offer, and now we're going to see them all go head-to-head.
Here's my thing. You know, and for anybody that knows me, especially my husband and our fans and, all the people out there who, follow our channel, I'm all for female empowerment, obviously. And, I was heartbroken. I was devastated when my girl Rhea lost. But to lose to Charlotte, even with her taking that loss, she did it gracefully. She bowed out and said, okay, I'm gonna go away for a little bit. I'm gonna get stronger. I'm gonna come back. At some point, I'm going to face Charlotte, and I'm going to take my title back because it was in my house. I'm in my house. So, and same with her being in her, thank you for the play on words, for being in her house, I feel like Charlotte has made some remarks saying, I made NXT. I came to NXT. I was one
You're here because I used to be here.
Exactly. I was one of the many women that put NXT on the map. Quote unquote, that's what she said. Now, we're moving to Io, who is the genie of the sky. She's got this whole mystique and this mysterious vibe, and when she went heel, I think it was good for her because you have a lot of people that can go heel, but they can't do it justice. But Io is just killing it right now. How can you not? She's strong-minded, she's strong-willed. She might be small, but that's not stopping her. Rhea, strong-minded, strong-willed. All these women across the board, including Charlotte. I don't see how you can lose with this match right here.
This one has match of the night written all over it. No disrespect to any of the others, and this is a killer card. This is an absolutely outstanding card. When Finn Balor is on the low end of the card, that tells you this must be one heck of a card. But this one right here has match of the night written all over it. Charlotte's accolades throughout her career speak for themselves. She's won 12 different championships, twice in NXT in 2 different stints. So everyone knows what she brings to the table. Rhea Ripley, winning the championship at such a young age. First woman not just to compete at WrestleMania, but to defend the championship at WrestleMania. And everyone knows throughout her entire career, both in the indie circuit and here, what Io Shirai brings to the table. This is as close as we have gotten to the 4 horsewomen in NXT since the 4 horsewomen left. Granted, yes, I'm aware there's only 3, but this is as close as we've gotten. There is an echelon of women that right now, this is your 3, and then here's everybody else. Ironically, all on the page here. This is your upper echelon. These are your best 3 that you've got to offer. I would argue that Bianca Belair was up there when she was still with NXT. She's obviously moved to Raw now. But, this is your big gun. So, when you look at anybody who's wanting to see Charlotte drop the title, first of all, who do you want her to drop it to? Because there is a ton of argument for either one. And then on the flip side of that same coin, if Charlotte was to somehow retain this championship, who on earth is there that can do anything? Because if Rhea can't get it done by herself, and Io can't get it done by herself, and the 2 of them can't get it done together, then who can? That's the question.
It would be someone we haven't seen or heard from yet, and we, again, because we hadn't seen or heard from, we really don't know. It could be anybody.
Well, you look at, an example. If you look at the 6 women that are in our, in our match down below, as well as Scarlett, add her in as well. You look at these 7 women. And I'll be honest, I love them. I love everything about them. But there's not a single one of those 7 right now who can take that title off Charlotte Flair. Not with the build that Charlotte has been given. Not with the experience she brings. Maybe at some point, but not right now. None of them are ready.
I feel like you have to understand Charlotte is pulling triple duty. Did she have to? No. Does she want to? Yes. That title that she wears and every title that she's worn, she's given it prestige for her to be a queen. So, and saying that, these 2 women, I want to see one of them take it off of her tomorrow.
And the good news, of course, for anybody who was worried about Charlotte doing the same thing she did against Io, it's triple threat, which means no disqualifications, no count out. So Charlotte can't work her way out of this one by disqualifying herself. But I do see her attempting to try to pit Rhea and Io potentially against each other. They've been arguing with each other because it's very clear that not only do they want Charlotte not to be champion, but they want to be the one to do it. And that means they'll move the other one out of the way if they have to, and that could be the Achilles heel in this match.
I think that could be the downfall to both women, and I think that would, if that's going to be the downfall and they both want that title, but they don't want her to hold it, it could end up hurting both of them unless they get on the same page and work together. After you have gotten Charlotte out of the picture, then at that point, later on down the line in another pay-per-view or on, every Wednesday, then you can go head-to-head. But that would be after you remove the title from her, Charlotte.
Exactly. So we move now to our official pick of our co-main event, which is, again, the triple threat for the Women's Championship. You mentioned earlier that Charlotte has been pulling triple duty. She's been on Raw, she's been on SmackDown, she's been here on NXT. And she's taken on virtually all of the biggest guns that the entire roster has to offer. She's gone one-on-one with Bayley, who now is Bayley 2 belts. She went one-on-one with Asuka. She has taken on Rhea and Io in a tag team match to where she had Chelsea Green helping her out. Wonderful person, by the way.
Yeah, very nice.
We talked to her earlier this week. She's
Sweet.
Definitely add her to this group down here. She's going to be main eventing takeovers at some point. So you have to think, on one hand you're looking at triple duty for Charlotte and saying, could she be worn out? But at the same time, I see that as her best way to prep for a match like this. Because she's not just going to go out there and say, I'm Charlotte Flair, I'll sit for 6 weeks, I'll be fine, I'll be ready. No, she has best of the best champs you have. Yes, she lost to Bayley. Yes, she, didn't, had to take a count-out win over Asuka due to Nia Jax. But the fact that she is facing off against the best they have to offer and is finding ways to keep herself ready.
Here's my thing with Charlotte. She learns. In case you haven't noticed with her, over her career, she has learned from all of her mistakes, and she's not going to make them again. And if she makes them, then she wasn't really thinking about it. But I don't see her making the same mistakes that she has made in the past when she's faced Bayley and when she's faced Asuka. I don't see her making the mistake in this match.
So it comes down really, and this is where my pick comes into play. It's going to come down to Rhea, not good enough by herself. Io, not good enough by herself. But the two of them together, they're absolutely good enough to be able to take out Charlotte if they can work together. There's the Achilles heel. I don't think they can. I think they're too concerned with them alone being the person that's going to take out Charlotte. Io wants the credit for taking out Charlotte. Rhea wants the credit for taking out Charlotte. And they're willing to move the other person out of the way if it means that person gets in their way. I think that's going to be the downfall. That's going to be where the issue lies. And in situations like this, because it's been proven over years of experience both in NXT and on the main roster, when that happens, Charlotte Flair is one of the best, if not the best, at being able to take advantage of a situation like that. It won't be a popular pick, and I can hear the boos coming from the crowd, but I'm taking Charlotte Flair to retain the Women's Championship at In Your House.
Do the whole Vince Charlotte Flair thing.
Charlotte Flair! Tell me what you think. You're up.
Okay, my pick, and I know as much as we want to sit here and say that they're the Achilles heel, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to kind of flip the script on you. I feel like at some point they have seen and they have bickered with one another. I think without nobody knowing or nobody seeing, I feel like these two, as much as they have been each other's thorn, as Drew likes to say, and each other's side, I feel like at some point they will be working together during this match. Like you see any good competitor work together to get out the queen, move the queen aside. I feel like Rhea wants her title back. But at the same time, I feel like Io also is deserving of the title. She's done everything she's supposed to do, and I don't see there's no way in one of them not getting it. So as much as I love Charlotte, and I do, love Charlotte, I would have to pick against Charlotte in this one.
But now who do you take then? If Charlotte's not winning, who does?
I honestly have seen Rhea with it. I want to see Rhea with it again, and I believe at some point she will be with that title again. But in saying, I'm picking Io.
Going with Io. So going for her first reign.
I feel like she's got just enough crazy and just enough mystique and mysteriousness to her to drop Charlotte. Underhanded tactic.
Yeah, well, again, triple threat, no disqualifications.
Exactly.
You can do it however you need to do it. Just get it done.
Get it done.
So, hey, couple of different ways. What do you think? And of course, the whole point of this show is we want you to give us your thoughts as well, whether you're doing it live here on our Instagram. Send us your thoughts afterwards. This gets uploaded to YouTube later on and premieres just before here. So if you're watching this from our YouTube replay, put your comments down at the bottom. What did you think? And then a couple of hours later, we can talk about, hey, look at that, we got them all right, or oh my God, these guys are idiots. They didn't get a single one right.
Idiot.
Well, that may be more me than you, but so be it. But hey, we've thrilled. We are absolutely just absolutely excited that everybody has come out here and has joined us for what is now our third different pay-per-view and our first takeover. It's because of people like you guys that are out here cheering us on, giving us likes, giving us so much credit, pushing our name out there to others is why we're having so much fun with this. We love bringing you this content, and these are the conversations we have on a daily basis with each other anyway, but now you're kind of getting a chance to come into our house, to be able to see exactly what we bring to the table. So let's get to our main event.
Let's do it.
One final one to go. It is the main event of our TakeOver pay-per-view tomorrow, and that will be for the NXT Championship, currently held by Adam Cole.
Baby.
There we go. I put her on the spot. She never does it. Okay?
I've done it twice. This is my third time. Don't throw me under that bus like you did the last time with my cosplay.
That's it. So Adam Cole, who of course earlier this week actually went over a full year as NXT champion, first person to ever do that.
Congrats.
So usually when you start hearing about milestones and you hear Michael Cole or Mauro Ranallo start talking about, here's how many days this person's been champion, usually that's always a telltale sign that it's getting ready to come to an end. But Adam Cole has faced this before because they said, he won't win over Tommaso Ciampa, but he did. He won't beat Velveteen Dream the first time, and he did. He's finding ways to manage to get things done with or without the assistance of the Undisputed Era. But in this case, it's going to be a little more unique than usual. Our main event being for, again, the NXT Championship. Adam Cole defending once again for the second time in a while against Velveteen Dream, but this one will be what is called a Backlot Brawl. Essentially, the idea is that there's going to be a wrestling ring placed outside of the Performance Center, and they're basically going to surround it with cars that are all going to have their headlights shining on it because they believe that one spotlight was not enough for both of them to be able to enjoy the experience, and there's not enough spotlight big enough for both of them. Well, now the entire arena is going to be, or the entire ring is going to be in a giant spotlight. Also, of course, an extra stipulation added to this that was agreed to by William Regal. This is Velveteen Dream's last shot at the title. If he doesn't win it this time, regardless of the circumstances, he doesn't get another one. Of course, you would also assume because it is Backstage Brawl or Backlot Brawl, we would again go under the impression, although not confirmed, no disqualifications, no countouts. It's somebody's got to win. Mm-hmm. So, what do you think about this one?
With this match, like you said, Adam Cole has gone over a year. He's done everything in his power with and without the help of his undisputed group mates, crew, squad, whatever y'all want to say. I feel like he's going to do what he has to hold on to that title. That is his baby. And saying that, now don't get me wrong, I'm not against Dream. I want to see him win. I've seen Dream do good things. I've seen him, he's worked and he's done everything he's supposed to and he needed to. I feel like we heard both sides while Adam Cole was out celebrating, keeping the title and winning. Tomorrow, I feel like Dream decided he was going to go ahead and contemplate this win. He actually kind of sat down, thought about it, got his thoughts straight, got himself straight. I feel like he did what he was supposed to do. Now, do I see Adam Cole holding it? Yes. But do I see Dream holding it? Yes, I do. So either way, it could go either or. My pick, and I'm going to go on the record, and we may pick differently. As much as I love Adam Cole, and I am going to have to pick the Dream.
You're actually going to take a title change.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, well, we don't have enough room to write that case, so she'll put it off to the side here. So she's saying Velveteen Dream will win the NXT Championship. Historically through WWE, and you can go back as far back in history as you want to go. And as I said earlier, when you start talking about them keeping track of the number of days you've been champion, or whenever they put the stipulation of this is your last chance, you don't get another one after this. More often than not, that person doesn't gets the job done and manages to win the championship because he understands I'm not going to get another one. The Velveteen Dream has proven to be a thorn not just in Adam Cole's side, but in the entire Undisputed Era.
Yeah.
And side note for just a moment, just get your thoughts out here. When was the last time you saw a TakeOver card that didn't have any other Undisputed Era member?
Isn't it like the first time?
It's been a while. I honestly cannot remember. And granted, because they were champions, they held all the title, all the gold in NXT for so long. But I can't remember the last time that I saw a TakeOver that did not have Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, or Roderick Strong involved in the card in some way. So it's been a long time since Adam Cole's had to stay out there by himself. Now the other course side of that is no disqualifications in a backlot brawl, we assume. So that means Undisputed Era, free to do whatever they need to do. And they have proven that if they work together, they can be able to contain someone like Velveteen Dream. So now, of course, we haven't mentioned the one ace in Dream's pocket, and that is Dexter Lumis.
Oh, my dude, yeah.
And I'm not so necessarily sure that Lumis is doing it necessarily to help Dream. I think it's enemy of my enemy is a friend. We both don't like the Undisputed Era for, a plethora of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but Dexter Lumis has also proven himself to be rather unstable, should we say. It doesn't really seem like anybody quite has an acuity of exactly where his thoughts are going. He just goes out there and just very methodically handles business.
Do you think he has a clue of where his thoughts are going?
I'm not asking him, you ask him.
All right, sure.
Of course you would. But with that being the case, Adam Cole has faced so many tall mountains before. He's had, the entire deck stacked against him. Triple threats, fatal four-ways, ladder matches, war games. He's faced it all and has somehow always come out the other end with the title still over his shoulder. And it's tough to see him having that drop anytime soon. And Velveteen Dream gone for a little while, injured, granted due to the Undisputed Era. Mm-hmm. He had his shot, he didn't get it done, so now he's stuck in a position where, against all odds, he has to get it done this time.
Yeah.
I think you got to take strategy, completely throw it out, because this is, a backlot brawl, which means none of the things you would normally think are going to apply. You don't know who's going to come out and interfere. You don't know who's going to come out and do anything. And in environments like this, it's where Adam Cole thrives the best. And so with that, my official pick is that Adam Cole will retain the NXT Championship over Velveteen Dream. Sorry, Dream, you got your last shot.
I feel like Adam Cole is a legit badass. I'm not going to even sit here and say that he's not. We've seen this guy, like the most dangerous cage matches, and this dude is like bleeding from his forehead, and he's getting up and he's still competing. He goes to the main roster and is taking on main roster guys, and he's making it look effortless. And this is just on a Triple H picks up the phone. I need y'all. Boom, boom, boom. On a plane. There he goes. He doesn't ask any questions. He goes. He does it, and he makes it look great. I mean,
exactly.
Get me wrong. I know I'm not picking for him, but I wish him all the best.
So reviewing our board, those are our official picks for TakeOver in your house. Looking at our board, it looks like we've got 2 matches, only 2, where we're actually going to take the same person. We're both taking Keith Lee, and we're both taking Finn Balor, but then, jumping on different boats for all of our 4 remaining matches. So we could see Kia go way on up in the board. We might see myself catch up, maybe even take the lead, or of course, because it is 4 different matches, maybe a split and everything stays right where it is. But what do you think? Are our picks, do we nail it right on the dot? Are we completely delusional in some of our picks? But, that's the whole point is, there are picks just like you have yours. So what do you think? But thank you so much for joining us here. We are definitely, just like everyone else, looking forward to TakeOver in your house. NXT always brings, no pun intended, brings the smoke when they have all of their, TakeOver events. I haven't seen one in such a long time that has not lived up to the hype, going all the way back to the days at the Performance Center.
But who is running this whole thing? Yes, Regal is
former Hall of Fame and soon-to-be Hall of Fame wrestlers. Triple H, Shawn Michaels.
We can even say Regal's kind of running it from a perspective of a manager perspective. But, the card is stacked. The cards are always great. I have never seen a flat NXT TakeOver at all. It doesn't matter if we go in person or at home on the couch.
And I don't think it's starting here.
It's not.
And this is one where, if you were in arenas, this would be one that would be a tough ticket to get a hold of.
It would.
I really do feel like they are prepared to put another great show up in front of us. I'm looking forward to it. And once again, TakeOver getting a weekend all to itself, not having to share the spotlight with its WWE main roster counterparts. It gets the show all its own.
Here's my thing with NXT. I feel like, to me, in my opinion, they are just the third brand. They're not developmental anymore.
Right. We use the term main roster, but that's exactly it. You know, NXT has become the third brand, and they've done an immaculate job of doing it. But thank you for joining us tonight. You know, we are absolutely looking forward to watching it just like you do. Hopefully you enjoyed our picks. Feel free to provide your own. And, you know, of course, we will be live on Instagram for about, a couple of minutes as soon as TakeOver in Your House goes final. So that way we can provide you with our thoughts on everything else. So be sure to look out for that. But for everyone, have a great rest of your Saturday night and look forward to TakeOver in Your House tomorrow. Parting words, go for it.
Like I always say, stay safe, stay in. If you got to go out, make sure to wear your mask, your gloves. For the fellas that have beards, make sure to actually shave your beard, trim it down so it'll actually work. If you're at home and you work, wash your hands. If you can't wash your hands, sanitize. Do what you need to do to stay safe. I want to get back into these arenas, and I know you do too.
Absolutely.
So with that being said, we love you. You have a good night, and peace.
All right. We'll let you hit the button. But anyway, have a good night. We'll see you guys later.
Bye. Okay. Do what you do. I don't want to mess anything up.